Hello everyone. Welcome to Cabin Fever Crochet. I'm Helene and I'm back with a new tutorial and decided to make this a crochet along a cowl. This is my Emerald Isle crochet top that you can make any size, any length that you like, any sleeve length too. So it may turn out to be like a semi-cap sleeve or a little bit of a shorter short sleeve. You can easily add to it, make it elbow length, 3/4 bracelet, long sleeve for different seasons, whatever you like. And then I will show you different ways that you can customize the sizing even more to fit your own body shape and type. And I have notes, so I can just move right along with this. And I actually have been working on this for several weeks, and I had the first part just about finished, and I was not happy with the lighting, really struggling with that. It's kind of a challenge here anyway, but with this light sensitivity I've been having, I started with a little bit low lighting, and I just wasn't able to correct it enough to my satisfaction. So I want to start over with that. And then also I reworked a couple of places to make it even easier and more seamless. So this will be the crochet along. As you can see, I'm going to part way on one, and I've tweaked a couple of the basics with a really nice solid fabric using my take on the linked double crochet. And we've got these natural raglan sleeves, and this is worked in the round in almost all in one piece, just a couple of rejoins, very minimal hand sewing that you'll need to do, and that's just going to be a very small section for the underarm hole, and that is it on each side. I'm going to go over the supplies right now, give you some ideas on the types of yarn and quantity. All right, and then as soon as I can, I will have the part 2, which will be the first part of the tutorial, get you down through halfway through the main body, and then we reconnect, we stop increasing, and then finish the rest of the length, and then just finishing up the sleeves, really easy, cute little border with the cross stitches. Hopefully you can see those. And that's what we will do for the sleeves and the bottom border as well. Just simple way to just double that up and make that even wider if you want to break that up a little bit more. And looks like the wind took one of my ball bands. Oh, and if you're new to my channel, oh God, I can't reach that, I'm stuck. If you're new to my channel and like the little hat I'm wearing, this is my warm weather crochet baseball cap hat, and I do have a tutorial and a written pattern for this, and I'll leave the link to that tutorial pinned at the top of the comment section and in the drop down description section, and then the link to my Etsy shop where I have the written is there too. And so speaking of written patterns, I do not have one for this yet. I mean, something like this would take quite a number of hours, and I just really wanted to get to this and still have to limit the time that I'm on the computer. So I'm putting that into the tutorial, and hopefully at some point I will. But once you get the hang of it, the stitches, and then work that, it just goes, it's easy. It's just really a 1-row repeat with a 2-row setup for the main body, and then when we get to the point, no more increases. You just keep doing that same repeat over and over. So just think about how you want to wear this. If you want a standalone top where you cannot see through it, I mean, there's a little bit of light, but I don't think you can really see what's happening under there, especially when I put my hands up and hold it to the light. I can't really see the bra, and maybe just slightly, a tiny bit going down along the raglan portion. You're just going to see that one little section of the bra, that's all. But if you're not comfortable with that, you can easily just wear a really light thin camisole underneath that. So back to thinking about how you might want to wear this and for what season. So if you want to wear it as just a standalone piece by itself without needing any other layering piece underneath it other than your bra or whatever you normally wear. Or if you want to make this as a more layering piece, say for a cooler season, early spring or going fall into summer, a little bit thicker yarn into winter, you can certainly do that too. It is so versatile. Yeah, so that will vary on the amount of yarn that you need. If you are wearing a thicker t-shirt or like a thermal top underneath that, then that is going to take up more space and you'll need a little bit more room. You'll need a measuring tape, 5 to 6 stitch markers, and we'll go over that in the tutorial, and then 2 hook sizes. You may or may not need both of them, but go ahead and get 2 just in case, because one will be for the neckline, and I made mine one size down from my main size just to give a little more stability body for the neckline. That is another area of customization too. And then I went up a hook size for the main body of the work because these stitches can get a little tight, and that way you still get that nice fluid drape to it. And I'm going to give you a couple of places that you can either increase or decrease if you need a little or less more width as you carry on down your body. But they're really easy ways that I worked it out where you can do that if you need to. So that is the rest of the supplies other than yarn. So I'm going to show you some just ones I grabbed out of my stash. And I highly suggest if you have a stash, you can really stash bust with this because that's what I did actually. This yarn, which I so thankfully snagged while Hobby Lobby still had their more varied selection of fibers. This is the Stitch 101. It's the 50% modal, 50% acetate, so mix of plant fiber pulps. And it does not have a lot of stretch to it, and it tends to compress a little bit and kind of flatten, so I needed more than I thought. And this is in the color Aquamarine, and then in the color Cornflower. I just have one, and I'm going to use that just for the trim, the border only, the neckline, sleeves, and the bottom. Because it is more of a solid stitch, it takes up more yarn. If you want something similar in feel to that and this nice sheen and more of a natural fiber, I really, really like the Knit Picks We Crochet Shine. This is the sport weight, and then they have a worsted. And the sport weight, these come in half sizes, so they're 50 grams, 1.75 ounces. It says an E. I think you could easily go up to an H, depending on your personal crocheting tension, but you probably could in this pattern. And this just works up really nicely, and it's 60% Pima cotton, 40% modal. And even though it's a number 2 weight, to me that is more of like a light number 3. The worsted I've tried, and that is a little heavy to me. So, but you do what you like. I'm just giving you some suggestions. Michaels has the loops and threads, heathered bamboo. I have done test swatches on this. I really like it a lot. This is a number 4 weight. Caron Simply Soft. It's 100% acrylic, but it has a bit of a coolness to the touch, that sheen, I think. Depending on your climate, it might work real well. You could do a pretty solid if you have an aqua color in this or a little bit deeper tone and pull those. That would be a good one, I think. Hobby Lobby, I love this cotton. And again, you can mix and match, just pull from your stash. Here's another DK weight, the Premier Color Fusion DK, and this is in the color Springtime. And it doesn't have to be the exact same yarn too. Now this is an older King Cole. It is 100% acrylic. It's similar weight, so I would probably do the border neckline and the borders in this because I only have 4 of these, and I don't think that would quite be enough. But it looks really cute. Here's a little sample I did, worked up. So it plays out really nicely. So I'm going to use this for something else, probably another little top that I'm working on too. So as far as amount, oh, it's a little tricky for me because size and whether however long you're going to make the sleeves and the thickness gauge of yarn. So this is a ballpark. All right, so to my best ability, I'm going to just give you the amount that I'm using, and then kind of gauge from there more or less. All right, so I'm going to use 5 for the body, doing a short sleeve, and then a little bit of this for the borders. It doesn't take that much. But we'll see when I go around the bottom, but there'll be some left. So between 5 and 6 skeins in the range of large to 1X. And that's at the lower end of 1X. And I think it's always better to have a little extra than to run short anyway. So probably 4 or so for size medium, and then small 3 to 4. And then going in the upper range, I would say for beyond an extra large. Then for every size above that, probably add at least 1 to 2 skeins from there. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's helpful to give you a base. So that's for short sleeves or going into the elbow length to have that little bit extra coverage if you need it. And so long sleeve, that's going to take up a little bit more yarn too. And as far as DK goes, this is acrylic, and it has more bounce to it, more spring. It's going to loft up, where this one, where I said early on, it's kind of flat. So I think I would get more mileage out of this one, especially after testing the yarn. And even something like this one will too. And I'm sure the Caron Simply stuff, I think all of those will. I tested out a couple different hooks, and for the main body, I went up to an I 5.5 millimeter, and that worked out really well. So I think probably in something like this about the same, but if you're going with a similar yarn in the lighter weight, like the Sport Shine, probably going to need more. And again, remember, these are half sizes. And they can get a little bit pricey. So I wanted to give you a range in fibers and price points as well to get you started. Okay, I know that was a lot, but now that you have the information and what to use and where we're going with it, then as we get going, then you can just create just a nice little top for yourself. And isn't it so nice to see the green grass growing again here? And my husband just mowed yesterday, so that's especially nice too. All right, well, take good care, everyone. I will be back as soon as I can. I'll give you time to gather your supplies and kind of ponder what you want to do with that. And then we'll just get to crocheting this up and have fun and have it ready just in time for the warmer weather. Although, if you are in any of the southern states, you are probably always ready pretty much for warmer weather. All right, well, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Okay, working on it. I really am. All righty, bye.